was little. When I was a little girl. When I was a little girl. My parents both worked. I was basically an only child. I had a couple half brothers, but they were both much older than me. And I grew up as an only child in my household. So I spent a lot of time at my grandmother's house. And my grandmother's house was very, very scary to me. Very, very scary to me. first thing that started happening is I would hear footsteps coming down the stairs on the other side of the door. And these are not footsteps of an animal. They were footsteps of someone in like a heavy pair of boots. They sounded like someone in work things escalated, but it wasn't that anything creepier happened. Things just started to feel very, very bad. When things would happen, when we would hear the footsteps in our bedroom, it would feel like very, very evil. It felt like something that wanted to scare us. It wanted us to be afraid, and it wanted us to fear it. So this went on for a lot of our childhood, and we kind of only had each other because we knew what happened to us, and we didn't bother telling anybody because we knew that no one was going to believe us. So we kind of just were there for each other. But eventually her mom